So my first memory of Power Rangers is when I was just a little kid and I got to experience like Mighty Morphin for the first time, and I would get up early and watch it before going to the bus, and then also like when I got home I would watch it when I got home. It had everything that I loved. It had dinosaurs, it had big monsters, it had robots, and it had colorful characters and more than one girl. So as a kiddo, it was a great show for me to watch, and I loved like the diversity of villains and everything in it too. Like it was my first experience with seeing like Japanese media, which ended up being a big part of my later life. So Power Rangers really like sparked a lot of joy for me as a kid. I loved how team oriented it is and how everyone worked together. And, that's something that as a producer, everybody's on a team and you all have your roles, right? Like you have your leader, you have your person that's very smart, maybe your business analyst, Blue Ranger, so like seeing such a different group of people coming together towards a particular goal was definitely a through line in my career. But when I came on to Renegade, it was the first thing that I got to work on. And it was so awesome, like catching up with all of the plot lines that have gone on, like reading through the comics and checking out all of the seasons of the show that I didn't watch because I, grew up and got a job. And I was so excited about like creating a game where people can make either like a teenager or a young adult that gets to be that like brave version of themselves that maybe they weren't when they were that age. So like that kind of going back a little bit into what it was like to be in high school, but this time you get to drive a robot. That was super inspiring to me as we worked on developing the game. I'm a person that got into Transformers a little late. Like I picked up a couple of episodes of the cartoon when I was younger, but I didn't really start paying attention to it again until the more recent movies came out. Then while working at Renegade, I've done a deep dive into the comics and all of the new stuff on Netflix, like War for Cybertron and everything like that. And I am so impressed by like the rich history of everything and all of the lore, and I love how the new characters have been handled, and there's a lot more like gender representation and also a lot of identity discussion that comes up when you have like technically genderless robots that choose to identify in different ways. And like as a trans person, it's super awesome to like see how that's evolved and to see how like the current comics are dealing with it. So I am now a Transformers fan where I was just a side observer originally. So it's been super great. It has been another thing that I can talk with my fellow like trans and queer LGBT people about in an interesting way. Like I think a lot of the folks that I grew up with maybe didn't catch on to it. And now that I've been like, hey, by the way, you should check out Transformers actually. There's a really like interesting cast and a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of like interesting discussions about identity and all of those sorts of things. I have fallen in love with road rage. I really love like finding those things, especially with Transformers, where there's so much that you can go read. Like getting into it now has been very cool. That there's like a ton that I get to learn about. I was lucky enough to be brought into a team that was already creating for Transformers, so I definitely have that to thank. But while I was learning and researching everything about the IP, I got so excited about thinking about making your own Transformer, like a completely blank slate. What's the alt mode that I get? Do I get to be a car or a motorcycle or a jet plane? Also thinking about what cool gadgets or weapons you'd be able to use, like what chassis color you get. Like in the book, we've tried to put in like so many examples of Transformers that already exist to give you a really good breadth of examples of what you can make. The thing that always inspires me is trying to see what people are going to do with all of the toys in the toy box. So I can't wait to see how everyone likes the book and what characters they make. Somebody wants to create something for their favorite thing, like GI Joe or Transformers or Power Rangers. As an artist, my number one recommendation would be to honestly do fan art. Like, as I was researching artists to reach out to, outside of maybe your standard comic artists and whatnot, like I literally searched for fan art. So if you have stuff up on ArtStation and DeviantArt and Twitter, I might have seen it while I was doing my research. So please, like, um, make the things that you love, right? Like, even if it's just practice or whatnot, like you never know what might come of an opportunity like that. So don't let the art school, don't do fan art sort of messaging get to you, because that's honestly how it works in the real world. So I can't wait to see what you make. Diversity and inclusion, especially in Power Rangers, we were able to have a lot of open creativity when it came to showing off the teens. We were able to create a lot of like unique examples of different character archetypes and everything like that. So from the start, working with the team, we wanted to show a very large breadth of who can be a Power Ranger, like people with disabilities. Everyone can be smart, everyone can be artistic, everybody can be talented, everybody can be a hero, sort of a thing. So I'm really excited for people to see all the art and to see, the different sorts of teens that we were able to get into the book, and future products too. I hope that you're able to see part of yourself in everything that we made, because that is super important to everyone on the team. So please show me your Power Ranger teens. You could tweet them at me. I would love it. So something that super surprised me, again, is about Transformers. I had no idea that Transformers, that they didn't have a concept of gender until they got to Earth. And then after that happened, they, had a reorientation of everything. So learning about the character Windblade, and that she's from a planet that everyone kind of identifies as female, versus Cybertron, where historically everyone has kind of identified as male once they start to use pronouns. And then seeing how like the effect of that and the effect of like interfacing with humans like has changed that for some bots that originally, they identified as male, and then eventually they go to non-binary or she or whatnot. I had no idea that Transformers ran that deep. I thought we were just all robots over here, shooting guns. So that was a really awesome surprise.